Hello everyone, I'm attorney Aiden Durham with 180 Law Co. in Colorado. And welcome back to All Up in Your Business. Stupid. That might have been really dumb. We're going to be going through your comments, answering some of your questions, and just generally having a whole lot of fun today. But a couple of fun things before we get into the really fun thing. If you're new to All Up in Your Business, welcome. Please do subscribe if you haven't already done so, and click that little notification bell so you get notified anytime I post a new video. I've also got to give a quick little legal disclaimer here that I am a lawyer, but I am not your lawyer. The stuff I talk about in this video and any of my videos shouldn't be taken as a substitute for actual legal advice. If you need help with any kind of legal situation, you should consult with a lawyer who's licensed in your state. Don't just rely on free info that you get from the internet. Now, tons of you guys have been asking. Actually, that's not true. That's not completely true. Nobody has asked. Not a single person has asked this question. But I'm sure someone will ask it eventually. Aiden, did you move? This is the question I keep getting asked. Not at all, not even a single time. But no, I didn't move. Things have changed around here. I did not move. What I did, in fact, was actually finally move into my place where I've been living for the last 2 years. I've had this spare bedroom that was supposed to be my office / YouTube studio, but for the last 2 years, it's just been kind of a staging area for crap that I didn't want to unpack or have a place to put anywhere else. So now finally 2 years into living here, I have decorated some of it. You guys don't want to see this corner. This part looks kind of nice. This corner is a mess. Maybe I'll put a couple clips in here. But anyway, no, I didn't move. Just finally getting my stuff together after 2 years and moving into this spare bedroom. So, okay, now to your actual questions that people have actually asked. Aiden, if my business is just me and it's completely online, I simply manage a website, no physical product or service, does it matter what state I form my LLC in? It always matters what state you form your LLC in, regardless of the nature of your business or who's involved in it. It definitely matters. I almost always tell people just form in the state where you live or where you're based, where you're located, because that's where you're going to be taxed for your state income tax. And if you form the LLC in a different state, it's not going to affect how you're taxed in the state where you reside. You'll just have to deal with 2 different states instead. So yes, it matters. You should consult with a lawyer who is licensed in your state to see if that's the best state for you to form in. If the logo, so we got a trademark question here. If the logo is made of letters, like a circle with the LLC name inside it, arranged in some way to look like a design, and some other company has already registered their logo with almost similar or exact same design look, but with different name letters or using lines and circles, will that be considered as trademark infringement? I have no idea. It depends on a million other different factors. If this logo, this other one is very distinctive and well known and well recognized, then it could certainly be considered trademark infringement. If the goods and services of your business, your trademark, are the same or closely related to this other company, then that certainly makes a difference as well and could make it more likely that there's some trademark infringement going on. But just because you share a similar or exact looking design of your logo, that in itself isn't trademark infringement. If there are lots of other trademark registrations that also share similar designs, that makes a difference. There are a million other different factors that go into it, so I can't tell you one way or another. What I can tell you is you should consult with a trademark lawyer. Hello, I am a French resident, but my LLC is registered in the state of Wyoming and my agent there, but the problem is that as soon as I ask him a question, he replies that he does not know. This is why after more than a year, I wonder what good is a registered agent if not for the mailing address. Thank you anyway for your videos. The registered agent, I don't know what kind of questions you're asking the registered agent, but they probably wouldn't know much. That really is the registered agent's sole job, is to be an address and a location where service of process is received, where other parties serve your company with official paperwork or court documents. That's really their sole responsibility. So that's what good they are. I don't know what kind of questions you're asking them, but they're not lawyers. They're usually not legal professionals. They're just registered agents. So if you have a legal question, you should ask a lawyer, because your registered agents probably not going to know and won't be able to tell you even if they do know, because they're not licensed lawyers, so they can't give legal advice. I want to sell on Amazon as a side hustle. I've never owned a business. Can I get a DBA to start my business, or do I need to start with an LLC? You can definitely get a DBA to start your business. You don't need to form an LLC. There's no requirement really in most instances that anybody form an LLC to operate a business. You can register a DBA and operate as a sole proprietorship that way. Is it possible to have multiple business names under one LLC? Absolutely. The way we do this is with a DBA, or a trade name registration, or a fictitious name. Each state calls it something different, but a DBA, that's exactly what its purpose is a nickname essentially for an LLC. So if you have an LLC formed and you want to operate different businesses under different brands or different names, then you can register the DBAs for those different brands under your LLC, effectively letting you do business under multiple names, but with just the one LLC. I'm forming an LLC, but I want to have a DBA for my trucking business. Can I do that? And in the DBA name, can I put LLC, or is that a given already? So you can certainly have a DBA for your LLC, for your trucking business, but the DBA's name should not have LLC in it. Only the LLC's name should have LLC in it. The DBA isn't an LLC. It is a DBA. So there should be no LLC designation in the DBA. The way people know if they encounter a business that's operating under a DBA, then in theory, that person can go to the Secretary of State's website or something, do some research, and find the DBA registration and see that it is connected to the LLC. Because I'm pretty sure every state, at least in Colorado, if you register a trade name for an LLC or a corporation, it connects the trade name to that entity, so that when you look up the trade name, you can then navigate to see the entity information, because it's the entity that you're actually dealing with. So that's why we don't need to put LLC in the name, because people can do their research to learn that they're actually doing business with an LLC and not a sole proprietorship, basically, under that DBA. Should I trademark my t-shirt logo right away or wait a few years like you mentioned? It depends on what your goals are and what you want to accomplish with the trademark. And if you want to wait, I can't tell you what to do. That's kind of a personal decision and a business decision. I almost always say get your trademarks done as early as possible. If you've got the budget and the time to invest in it, whether you're working, doing it yourself, or working with a lawyer, or if you're using my DIY trademark course where I walk you through the process step by step and teach you how to do it. Regardless of how you're doing it, typically you want to do it as early as possible so that you get your application submitted, you get priority before anybody who may file an application after you, and you get that process started. But that's not always a good option for people, and there are sometimes instances where it is better to wait. If we've got a merely descriptive trademark, for example, and sometimes we might want to wait a few years so we can acquire distinctiveness in the trademark. So you should consult with a trademark lawyer if you're not sure if you should file your trademark application now or wait. Again, it's typically best to do it as soon as possible, but that's not always the case. Hi Aiden, does USPTO.gov apply to Australia? No, that is just for the United States. USPTO.gov is solely to register trademarks and patents in the United States. It won't give you trademark rights or registration in any other country or jurisdiction. That doesn't, just because you're in Australia though, if you're trying to register a trademark in the US, you would still go through the USPTO to do that. But trademark registrations through the USPTO are only US trademark registrations. You mentioned that DBA is a nickname for your business. You need to file a DBA if your LLC doesn't include your name. For example, not my real business name, just an example, Candy Soul LLC, but my name is Ruby. Well, I need to do a DBA. No, if you're operating under an LLC, it doesn't matter if your personal name is in the LLC name. You would only register a DBA for your LLC if you're going to do business under a different name than what the LLC is named. then you do a DBA. If you're operating under the LLC's name, then you don't need a DBA because you're just doing business as the name of the LLC. What are the benefits of having an LLC in Delaware, Wyoming, Nevada, etc.? That's a great question. If you live in one of those states, then the benefit is that you benefit from having your LLC registered in that state. And some states like Wyoming, I believe, or Nevada doesn't have income tax. So if you live in Nevada and you form your LLC there, then you get to take advantage of the no state income tax. If you live in Delaware and you want to take advantage of Delaware's business-friendly laws and statutes, then you'd benefit from that. If you live in Wyoming, you might benefit from some of their more private things. They don't require as much information about the business owner on the filing documents, so you might benefit from that. If you don't live in any of those states, though, then the benefit doesn't so much exist. Let's talk Nevada. If I live in California, which does have state income tax, and I register my LLC in Nevada, I am still a resident of California, and an LLC, a single member LLC, is a pass-through disregarded entity, so I am still paying state income tax in the state where I reside. So me living in California, I'm not going to get any of those no state income tax benefits from Nevada just for forming my LLC there. And same thing with Wyoming. Wyoming might be more private, but if I'm in California operating my business from California, California is going to want to get their share, get their cut somehow. So I'm going to have to register as a foreign entity in California. And so now all the privacy stuff benefits I got from Wyoming or whatever state, they're kind of negated because I still have to give all the extra info that California requires. So the benefits are very minimal if you don't live in those states. All right, you guys, this is a good one. I've had this awesome idea for a t-shirt that would sell all over the world because everyone has been there. Situation. Okay, but fear, procrastination, and laziness has prevented me from doing it. I came up with the idea in the mid-'80s. I even sent myself a poor man's patent. Where you describe your idea in the letter to yourself and go to the post office and mail it to yourself. Certified mail. Don't break the seal 15 years ago. Okay, so I recognize this isn't a question, but I want to point out this is a bad idea. I mean, it's not a bad idea, but it's not doing anything. This poor man's patent. Okay, so your idea for a t-shirt, first of all, isn't a patent. There might be some idea for a trademark or maybe a copyright that you want to put on the shirt, but in either event, there's no patent there. There's no such thing as a poor man's patent. We hear poor man's copyright a lot, where let's say you recorded a song or wrote a book. That might be an easier example. Let's say you wrote a book and you can't afford to register the copyright officially. So you mail yourself a transcript of the book, have it dated, the mailing is dated, and that way you can prove that you wrote it. I mean, that does nothing. There's no legal basis behind that. There's no statute or federal code that says, mailing something to yourself is almost as good as a federal patent registration or copyright. That's not a thing. That's not a thing. This doesn't do you any good, certified or not certified mail. This doesn't do you any good, you guys. Just don't bother with this. Don't bother with it. I don't know what else to say. It's not real. Hi, I watched some of your other videos and I have a question about the business physical address. Can multiple LLCs be registered at any single physical address? For example, a family member has a physical building. Can us family members use their physical building address as our principal address for registering our LLCs for our online business? Florida is the state, by the way, if it makes a difference. Yeah, there can be multiple LLCs registered at a single physical address. I'm not aware of any state law or something that would not allow you to do that. No one's checking. And virtual offices and private mailbox locations like UPS's, this happens all the time. Lots of companies will have a virtual office at the same virtual office location. So there's tons of companies using that address as their physical, primary principal office address. That's the phrase I'm looking for. So yeah, I'm not aware of any reason why that would be a problem. Okay, a little important housekeeping note for the group. This isn't a question, but these comments have been popping up pretty frequently. This person who is replying to a lot of your comments and a lot of my videos purporting to be me. I hope you guys recognize that this isn't actually my account and not actually me responding to you. I'm never going to reply to your comments and tell you to WhatsApp me. I don't use WhatsApp. I'm never going to link you to any like crypto site, nothing like that. My YouTube channel is verified now, by the way. So if it looks like I'm responding to you in the comments, but it might be a little weird, make sure there's that little verified check next to the account name. Anyway, you guys, I'm taking steps to try to get these accounts removed and stuff. If you notice some comment that pretends to be from me, if you guys want to report them, I would love you for it. It just, helps me not have to deal with this. But the important thing is I hope you guys don't actually believe that these are from me. They're not. Keep an eye out for anything that is a fake comment or linking you to something weird or telling you to WhatsApp them. That's not me, okay? What constitutes as use? So this is a trademark question again. If you use a company name for social media while developing a product, but you haven't actually sold anything yet, can someone infringe on the trademark? Can they infringe on the trademark? No, because there isn't a trademark to infringe on yet. If that doesn't constitute use. Having your social media handle for your company name or your trademark, that doesn't constitute use of the trademark. That in itself doesn't constitute use. Having your social media account can be used as proof of use, but that itself is not use, especially if you haven't actually sold anything yet. It's not a trademark yet. It's an idea for a trademark. It's a social media handle. So yeah, someone can infringe on it. Someone can start using that trademark before you do and potentially have stronger prior rights in the trademark because they started actually using it as a trademark first. So what constitutes use? The simplest explanation is the first time you sell your product or your service. It's not always that simple. One tiny little sale to your cousin for 10 bucks just to call it a sale, that's not going to count. But generally speaking, an actual sale in the regular course of business, if you sell your product or your service, that's typically going to be considered use of the trademark. But before you use it, it's not a trademark. So no one can infringe on it because it's not a trademark. Another fun trademark question. Hi, so once you get approved and you would have to show evidence of use, after that, do I have to pay any more fees? So about the USPTO fees for trademark applications, the initial fee is typically when we submit the application, there's a filing fee for that. If we mess stuff up, we might have some additional fees to pay. But aside from that, the only normal fee that we run into is if we filed on a 1B intent to use basis. Then there's another fee when we file our statement of use or proof that we're using the trademark. After we do that, after we file that statement of use and it gets accepted, it gets approved by the USPTO, then there shouldn't be any additional fees after that unless something kind of uncommon or out of the ordinary happens. But usually there won't be any more USPTO filing fees due after you filed your statement of use, except I guess the things changed in the last few months. They're not sending out physical trademark certificates anymore. They're just sending you a digital one, and you can order a display copy for 25 bucks. It's optional though. So, I mean, if you decide you want the display copy of your registration certificate, then that's a $25 fee. But aside from that, no other fees outside of the statement of use, typically. All right, let's cap it off with another DBA question. On a DBA, what's the process to convert to an LLC? Should I hire an attorney? I started as an LL3 for 3 years, or I started as a DBA for 3 years. Is it too late to convert? No, it's not too late. You're not really converting a DBA to an LLC. You're just starting an LLC because as a DBA, you're operating as a sole proprietorship. So it's you are the business. So you physically can't convert into an LLC. You're the business. So you're the sole proprietor. You're starting an LLC. That's really what it is. And yeah, you should hire an attorney to help you with starting an LLC, even if you weren't already operating as a sole proprietor under a DBA. I have a video about how to convert from a sole proprietorship to an LLC. I will link to it in the description. Yeah, there's more info there. Okay, great round of questions and stuff this time, you guys. That is all for this round of responding to your comments and answering your questions. I hope we all had a great time, because I know I sure did. If you learned a thing or two, go ahead and give me a thumbs up, and make sure you subscribe if you haven't already done so, and click that little bell so you get notified anytime I post a new video. Make sure you check the description for links to additional info and resources, including where you can find more info on my Brandish DIY course, where I teach you step-by-step how to get a trademark without a lawyer, and so much more fun stuff in the description. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Aiden Durham, and I will see you next time.